Why I was arrested for assaulting a Belgian rail conductor, part 2. Previously, an off-duty Dutch cop sees me driving in a lane he doesn't like on the highway, follows me for half an hour, and then flags me down to give me a ticket. I say it's an example of him being a mierenneuker. Although it was more an example of vertrutting, as in the nanny state, as in interfering unduly with personal choice, as in that thing that the Netherlands used to be famous for. Vertrutting comes from the Dutch word trut, or whiny little bitch. Example 1, the cop. Example 2, the white guy complaining about a traffic ticket for 2 videos now. But put a pin in that as I tell, as promised, why I was arrested for assaulting a Belgian train conductor. So I went down to Brussels, and as I've said, I am a naturalized Dutch citizen. Now, before you get to the Netherlands, they teach you all these stereotypes about the Dutch. Like, all Dutch people are gonna be a bunch of drug-doing, drug-sniffing, dead baby injecting, grandpa murdering pedophiles. And you get here and you realize that's not even true. I mean, maybe Belgium. Ha ha ha! And that's how Dutch people feel about Belgians. I was in Brussels for a YouTube conference, partly to prove to my YouTube audience that Brussels is not so bad. I failed. But I was excited to try this new direct train service from Brussels to Amsterdam. You get on the train at 4:45, you get off at 8:15. That's time enough to kiss the kids before bed. Went to the station, got my ticket, the train board agrees with my app, we're looking good. But by the time I got to the train platform, the app no longer matched the train board. Train board said, no further information is available. My app says, that train is canceled. None of the trains, no service today. I looked around like, what's going on? And people were shrugging, as if to say, this has happened before. So now, between rush hour panic and app information, combined with a lack of any information from the Belgian rail service, I hop on train 1 to Antwerp, train 2 to Antwerp Centrum, train 3, which is supposed to be a train that goes all the way back into the Netherlands, but it's a stop train. I'm happy. But then, I can't hear what the hell is going on. Apparently, we're not going to the Netherlands at all. We're stopping in the beautiful town of Capellen, where buses will be waiting. What do you know? There were no buses waiting. 500 people getting off this tiny train. It's like Schindler's List. There's one guy in a traffic vest who's near the station yelling something in Flemish. The guy next to me says, quoi? Like, what's he saying in French? And I thought, oh, you're screwed. He shrugs as if to say, this has happened before. Finally, a bus arrives and stops right by the station, actually kind of in front of me. And now this mass of people pushes forward. It is now less Schindler's List and more Titanic with the lifeboats. There's actually a mother with a child, like right next to me, trying to get on the bus. I'm thinking of pulling the bad fiancé move, stealing the baby and like, you have to let me on board. I didn't do that. I gave my spot to the mother and child, not for any noble reason, but because it didn't feel safe. And it turns out I was right. You see, the bus had stopped in the railroad crossing. You know, the part that is normally blocked off by gates that are like ding, ding, ding. They're now smacking the top of the bus, and the bus driver realizes, oh, maybe I should move forward a little bit. He presses on the gas with the door open and people trying to get on the bus. They're falling out of the bus, under the bus. People are screaming, panic ensues. Again, I turn to the guy next to me and they're like, Belgium. There's now a series of other buses that are too full, taxis that are ordered and don't come, and finally a driver that says, we are full. And as he says that, his side door is still open, so I sneak on. I'm now sitting in the stairwell of a bus, leaning against the door for safety, and I am thrilled. I'm thrilled until A, the bus stops at every conceivable place on the way back to the Dutch border, and B, we realize he's not going to the Dutch border. He's going to one train station before the Dutch border where, don't worry, you can get a train back to civilization. Time is now 8:15, that magical moment when I was supposed to be back in Amsterdam already. I haven't even left Belgium. We get to the last Belgian train station. There's no information. My app is telling me the next train is like 45 minutes later. I get up to the top of the stairs and thank God the train is still there. The doors are closed, but the conductor is standing there in the one doorway, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, the deuren zijn dicht. The doors are closed. No more passengers can enter." We need to get back to the Netherlands. Like, we're getting on this train, right? Because I've been in this situation before with the Dutch rail conductors, and even though the rule is you hear the whistle, no more boarding, if you're making eye contact with a conductor who is manually operating the door, they can let you on. So now I'm negotiating with this guy. Come on, you know I'm getting on this train. It shows no signs of actually departing anyway, so who is it going to harm? And now I'm thinking of me getting on that bus. You know, sometimes you gotta sneak on the side door, I guess. So I tried sneaking on. It's like, look at that. You're not even seeing me. I'm sneaking on your train. And he said, "Nee meneer, nee, you may not come. The deuren zijn dicht." And that's when I threatened to tickle him. And I said, "I hope you don't like fingerprints on your glasses." And that's the moment when I realized, in legal terms, I have now made physical contact. I have committed assault. Belgian conductor freaks out. He makes the move to close the door in my face. And in the Netherlands, you can do that by pressing a button and closing the doors in my face. In Belgium, apparently, to close the doors, you have to take 3 steps back into another cabin, reach around a different panel, and press a door button to close the doors. The door starts to close, and I'm like, yoink! I step right onto the train. I am privileged to witness the Belgian rail conductor come back around the corner thinking he's gotten rid of me. He pulls a Bugs Bunny bad guy moment of like, thank goodness. And then he sees me and goes, "No!" But now, at least, the train is moving. I go back to find the conductor, and I actually tried to offer my apologies, and he says, "It's too late for that. The police will be waiting for you at the platform." Good news, we're over the border and in the Netherlands. Bad news indeed. The Dutch rail police are waiting for me. Belgian rail conductor tells his side of the story, and I'm thinking, oh, good, I'll wait until I get to tell my side of the story. As it turns out, you don't get to tell your side of the story. Now I'm getting eye daggers from the Belgian guy. I'm getting like 6 Dutch rail police all lecturing me about how you might as well call a lawyer, probably gonna have to spend the night in a cell. Since it's a case of assault, the Dutch real police come running up. So now there's like 10 cops and the conductor all gathered around, and the real cops go talk to the Belgian rail conductor, and this is the second time he's telling the story, so I know he's embellishing a little bit. Now I didn't just touch his glasses, now I shot him with a missile or a nuclear weapon because I'm American. I don't know. But as it turns out, whatever he said, it worked to my advantage. They look at the Belgian rail conductor, they let him go, and his train leaves. And then they look back to me, and they all shrug as if to say, "This has happened before." So they let me go. They said they didn't have a reason to keep me. But I do have to pay a fine to the Belgian rail service. And they said, "You're really gonna have to pay it." I said, "I'll totally pay it. What I did was totally wrong." And they said, "Yeah, it's gonna be like 50 euros. And then they confessed, in the Netherlands, it's way worse. And I said, "Why? Is it like this happens more often in Belgium?" And the guy said, "Yeah." In conclusion, yes, the Dutch can be a bit of an overprotective nanny state, but compared to the hair-pulling, life-shortening stress and anarchy of trying to survive one day in Belgium, I'll stick with the Dutch and their vertrutting.
Newsroom, it's a newsroom. Listen to the sound of the newsroom. Anything can happen in a newsroom. News, 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 news.